All right. Well, I'm super excited to share with you today of one of my favorite topics, which is seeking clarity. It is part of my series for reclaiming energy, joy, and balance, where the first one was on metabolism and hormones, how to physiologically shift your body. And the second one was on mind-body techniques, where you can reduce stress drastically and be able to find more resilience through the way you connect with your mind and your body. And today is on 3 questions high achieving people ask to create more impact, more success in your life so it does not drain your energy. Imagine that, right? Well, first and foremost, I invite you to get the most out of the next 40 minutes. I'd like you to turn off your cell phone or turn it off to silence. Close your door, set a mental closure to your environment so you can create a moment of intention and space for this learning, right? Because this is going to be something that I hope will serve you and improve the way you function and connect with people and connect with the world. So it's something important. So I want you to create that space for it. All right, so first and foremost, let's do the A, B's, and C's. A very simple way for us to take a moment, bring your attention and your awareness to your body, adjust your seats if it needs to, stand up if you feel like you're just tired, low energy, shake yourself around a little bit, bring the attention to what your body needs. Drink a sip of water, right? If you need to pause real quick, run to the bathroom so that you're not feeling this urge, and feeling urgent the whole time. Do that. And the second thing is bring the awareness now to your breath. Take a nice, long, deep breath and just remember what it feels to have a nice breath in your body. And connect, right? Connect back to your body, connect back to your breath, and connect back to the belly, which hold the breath. Take a moment and see what it is that you need. Not just do something, but receive feedback from your body and say, in connecting, what do I need? Okay. So now, how many of you on the audience who are listening feels that you might feel uncertain or directionless in your life right now? Feel free to use the chat. I know it can be shy sometimes, or maybe if you're eating, you don't have to, but consider, chiming in, get it going. But how many of you feel you're certain about life, but you're easily distracted or sidetracked by getting towards your goals? Or maybe, especially when it comes to health goals or goals for making big sustainable changes that will impact your long-term well-being, your mental well-being, or physical well-being, even your financial freedom, right? How often do you feel distracted or sidetracked? Or how many of you, especially now with so much going on in the world and our community and how our operations are just different from, let's say, even 3 years ago, how many of you feel like you're easily caught up in judgment, caught up in emotions, caught up in reactions when you're talking with people close to you, when you're trying to do things at work, when you're trying to connect with your community, and it feels you just easily get caught up, easily get upset, or easily feel like it's affecting your health? And at the end, it's not even resolving any issues, but just making you feel upset. And how many of you feel as though things are, as they're opening up in public or in workplaces, you're actually more worried and anxious how things will happen or reintegrate, or face-to-face interactions, and you feel overwhelmed or maybe even feel lost, or maybe have, just lots of different emotions and worries? Well, if any of those you said yes, this is the the talk that will benefit you, hopefully, right? And by the end of this, I hope that you can get a clear sense of how to feel better. I'm just going to excuse myself for a second. I'm trying to make my sound a little bit better. There you go. All right. I hope the sound works better. So now, what are we going to do? So we're going to do 3 key questions high achievers ask to seek more clarity, to help bring you more impact and success without that energy drain or that reaction or that emotional pull. Sounds good? Okay, well, first and foremost, I want to introduce myself. Some of you are already familiar with me. I'm Dr. Onna Lo. I'm a founder of Happy Health Institute, where my training comes from longtime meditation yoga teacher, a functional medicine doctor, a high performance coach. But all in all, when all my 15 years of experience as a doctor comes down to it, is I specialize in burnout. And you're going to understand more if I share with you my story. So this picture here is pretty much what sums up my teenage years, my 20s, and my early 30s, where I'm pretty much just tired all the time, wired all the time. And I'm just struggling where, maybe some of you feel that stressed out, too tired, maybe too anxious, or maybe a really difficult female cycles when you do have, and you just have to let go of opportunities or can't have as much hobbies or free time or patience with your family because you're just tired or don't have that extra boost in you or that life force. Well, that was me. I was sick all the time growing up, especially worse in my 20s, and I couldn't do what I wanted all the time, right? I I wanted to be a doctor. I knew I was a passionate human being, and but there's so much time I just feel frustrated. I would be in limbo for weeks because I would be sick, or the 6 months I had to take time off from migraines in college, or when I had IBS and I had to practically stay home because everything that I eat outside of my control makes me feel unwell. And Western medicine didn't help me, even though I was going to become a doctor and I was in medical school early in my 20s. And I just couldn't figure out. Medicines I took make me more sick. Medicines for migraines made me numb and depressed. Steroids I had for my asthma made me forgetful. So it was very stressful. Normal labs, nothing, treatments and diagnoses all makes nothing better. So finally, I was lucky. I found functional medicine, which basically, if you look at this tree, it's rather than breaking up our symptoms into all the different leaves of what our, organ systems tell us, right? My migraine, I go to a neurologist. My asthma, I go to a pulmonologist. My GI issues, I go to a gastroenterologist. It honors the fact that within the tree trunk, you'll see that there's actually 6 key processes, right? That is related to how we get rid of toxins, how we make energy, how our immune system works, how gut absorbs, and how structurally our body's put together. When we actually break all of that down together, look at that closely, turns out it'll benefit everything. And that's what worked for me. Within just a few months of working with my functional medicine doctor, my asthma, my headaches, my gut all got better. And that was so amazing that it just trajected me into becoming really interested in this topic and started helping my patients in this format. But what's interesting is as I'm helping people, they're getting better. I start working in corporate health, working with people who just gets really into the burnout problem. I notice they get better from the physical issues, but they always come back and they still get burnout again. And they would know all the tools, they know how to eat, and they'll burn out again. And eventually I realize there's a missing ingredient, and that's the mindset. And that's what I'm going to talk to you today, which is the way how our mindset, our positive mindset can really drive our person, drive our energy, drive our resources so much more different that we can actually skirt away from being burnout, skirt away from actually getting ill. And it's such an important piece to address. So of course, I enjoy the benefit of becoming a high performance coach, bringing a lot of that value to my own life. And I would say now more than ever, I'm just energized, I'm happy, and I'm full of confidence. So my goal is to share that with you, share that with women leaders, professionals, entrepreneurs, getting you to get your energy back, joy back, your confidence back, rebooting your hormones, your metabolism, mindset, so that you can create more impact and freedom in your life. So what's a typical person that would benefit from today's talk, right? So meet Jane. She's a 45-year-old project manager. She's been working in person during this pandemic the whole time. She is burnt out. She's tired in the morning, but she's works late at night and she needs that extra oomph just to get through because she's working international time where another country works late. Her best self-care is just going to sleep. But when she does sleep, she's actually not getting restful sleep. She's anxious because there's so much she's worried about exposure, about the project, the people that she's managing. but she's at the same time just feeling overwhelmed and resentful because she feels like she's working more than anyone else, and she feels like she's just taking on all these team projects and she's not able to unload some of the work. So it's almost like backing herself into a corner by being so high functioning. She's not able to actually get out of the work. She's actually doing more work, and her marriage is failing because she's not spending time with her partner, and she's feeling it's just impossible to get calm. All she wants is feel community, socialization, but she's just anxious when she does go out and see people face to face, and there's just so much distress in the topics of conversation. So when I asked her, what's your biggest problem? She said she doesn't know who she is except for without her work. When when her work goes well, she's happy and proud. When she work doesn't go well, she feels depleted, and she only, and she only knows who she is by what she does. So she ends up being just so exhausted by just doing and doing and doing rather than feeling that satisfaction from her work. So I wonder if that relates with any of you here today at all, around that stress, around that overwhelm, or just feeling backed into the corner. Well, so let's get started. Let's get some piece of papers and pencils or pen. What I want you to do today is we're going to explore this tried and true exercise that will help you seek clarity on how you can remind yourself to show up, what you want, what your authentic self will want, and find meaning and find fulfilling. And by using a set of questions, we're going to help you explore what's authentically important to you and also uniquely support you to thrive even during times like this, where there's just so many new stressors that comes out regularly. This is a wonderful, wonderful chart that ever since I've come to learn about it, I find it applies into so many visual way to apply to our lives and our choices. So to me, what this is if you look at this picture on the right, I see it like an infinity sign. On the right side, I would call it like our lives, our natural way psychologically how we react to life, right? So an event would happen, a judgment would come up, emotions would come up, and then you get into a reaction. How often do you feel that way, right? You come home, you notice that I'll just give an example. You come home, you notice that all the everything in the house is a mess. The kids are screaming at each other, and I just immediately jump to this judgment that this is overwhelming. It's ridiculous. The kids are awful. They're not paying attention. They're not being thoughtful. They're unkind. They're terrible siblings to each other. And then I have emotions, just feeling angry, feeling irritated, feeling upset, feeling, sad, or feeling shameful that how did I raise children this way? Right? And then I come into the reaction feeling, I got to do something about this. And then I started maybe yelling, maybe started, corralling them, the kids. How many of you kind of have that experience? Maybe even at work, right? You come in, there was an inbox, an item wasn't done, and the email was saying that I noticed this item was left undone and it's 10 days overdue. The judgment I would come is like, who is it that would forget this? Finding someone to blame and be upset about, right? Emotions is that I feel, again, responsible. I feel ashamed. Maybe I feel upset that this is not done. And then my reaction is, finding the troublemaker rather than actually, or just being, thinking about the next thing I need to do, or maybe like, giving feedback to this person who missed the job. So clarity is where it comes in, because on the right side, you can imagine how often, if you want to share by just typing in yes, right, that you would go down this rabbit hole of negativity over and swirling in this right side. Well, what clarity today is doing is that you give yourself a choice when you have these three, the clarity, it'll actually bring you out of this constant swirling of emotions and reactions and give you a sense of reminding yourself the choice that you have at all of these situations and get you out so that you're not just reacting to life, so that you're actually able to have clarity and say, okay, what is it that I need and I want and I choose to, so that I can then make actions and decisions based on that rather than purely emotions and judgment. Okay. One more moment. And I'm believing that I once again forgot. There you go. Okay. For a moment, I thought I forgot to record again. Okay. So now what's the 3 questions that I want to ask you? So why questions? So first, to do 3 questions is because when we ask questions, it engages our mind. So questions are a great way to anchor the mind. Anytime when I say, hey, what do you think? Versus, hey, do this, you're more likely to immediately trigger a thought that is more engaging and takes into a more complex communication on your part. So it is important for us to actually engage our mind, our attention through questions, because where our attention goes, our energy flows, right? And so the moment we say there's 3 questions, it helps us then create an intention to where our energy and our thoughts go and our practice goes. So what's the first question? The first question here is, I want you to take a moment, put down your pen, and just close your eyes. I want you to visualize yourself and think of a time when you are the most authentic to your best self. Or think of a time when you felt most confident, or you feel like the moment where you're proud of yourself. What's happening in that scenario? What were you doing? What were the feelings that you were feeling when you just know that you're being your best self and you're showing up and you're proud of yourself? How does that feeling show up in your body? Where does it show up? How does your body sit? What's your posture? What's your physiology? What's your facial expression? What are some ways you would describe yourself at that moment where you feel confident, you feel your best self, you feel authentic, you feel like you're emanating the values you believe in the way you'd show up in this world? Now come back to the room for a moment. What I want you to do is ask this question. How would you use 3 words to describe the best of who you are that can guide you for your actions and the thoughts in your life? Think about, not necessarily in relationship to other people, but just think about, you wake up and you go about your day in an empty house and you're by yourself, you've got work you need to do. And how would you describe if you were being your best self? What would the 3 words to describe how you show up? Another way to think about it could be if you were imagine yourself like a fly on the wall, and you get to observe yourself in the day to day. And if you saw yourself acting as your best self, what would this fly on a wall version of you describe you to be? Think of those 3 words. And take a moment, and I want you to try to wear those words, right? How does it feel thinking yourself? Because it's an experience you've had before, right? You wouldn't come up with 3 words that you just no idea. So if those 3 words are something that you felt before, take a moment and imagine yourself in that state and be holding that space, sitting up that way or standing that way. How does your body feel? How do you breathe? How does your feet feel on the ground? Write that down too. So some of the words that have shown up as I work with clients or patients are energized, happy, grounded, or fulfilled, or motivated, or energized. Feel free to share, on a chat if that feels, comfortable for you, to share some of the words that are coming up for you. So funny or loyal, reliable, or authentic, confident, compassionate. So those are some of the words that people have come up with that help them remind themselves of what are the best of who they could be in guiding their actions and thoughts. Now, the next question is around other. So this question this time is to ask, what would you let 3 words guide you in how you show up for other people to support their best self? It could be your parents, right? As a parent, it could be as a partner, it could be as an associate at work, it could be as an acquaintance. It's a general guideline. There are times when you can make it specific to somebody's, specific. So every time I show up for my son, I think about the word acknowledge or patience, and and when I show up for my patients, I think about the word empowering. But think about, in this case, a simple one that actually does not change no matter where you are. So think about when you are walking into a grocery store after a bad day and someone that you don't know comes up to you and asks you for help. What would be the 3 ways that it would guide you in general, even when you're just not thinking or not aware, just not tired and not feeling up for it? What would be 3 simple ways that you can show up or interact with other people? Another example could be when you got home from a busy day, your kids come up and they're climbing all over you. What would be the 3 words that would apply for this scenario also? Or maybe a colleague at work, or maybe someone you work with, or maybe your boss, or maybe your team that you work with. So take a moment and write down what are the 3 words that would define and guide how you will engage and treat others in your life, including loved ones or strangers. The way I've used it in the past, I've learned this in medical school. It's called the doorknob sign. It's every time when I open the door, I put my hand on the doorknob before I enter to meet a new patient or a new meeting. I actually automatically think of 3 words. And those 3 words is what I set myself up for, that clarity in moving forward in the room, no matter what questions are being asked, no matter what state they are in, whether they're sad or they're overwhelmed or they're in a hurry or they're upset. These words guide how I choose to interact. And some of the words that have shown up, I love it. Someone's showing it's present, being supportive, being compassionate. And some of the other words that has shown up in the past are empowering, present, engaging, or patient, caring. I see a similarity there. Or respectful or grateful. So write that down. And once again, my favorite thing to do with these words is try wearing them. Imagine being in these words because you've come up with these words because they've meant something for you in the past. So try for a moment, put it in your body and see how your body would stand, how you would sit. And right away I notice I straighten my back, I open up my chest, I soften my shoulders. So what does it feel for you to wear the words of being present or being supportive or being compassionate? Now the third question. This is a great one. Now this is the one where imagine there are 3 key things or habits or environmental factors that can make you successful. What would they be? If you get to be any situation you go to, any place you visit, and you're come across a scenario and you just have to show up and you have to give your best or give your all, what would be 3 key things that has served you in the past that worked well and got you to become successful? So this one's a bit personal. It could be a habit. It could be an environment that you put yourself in. It could be a feeling. It could be a practice. But it's very unique to, let's say, give you an example. When you have to go into a long 1-day meeting, 10-hour meeting, and you have to give your best because your whole team's, whether they get to stay in the job depends on whether you get a promotion depends on whether you get a sales from this depends on it, whether you get advance your mission of your project depends on it. How will you prepare for it? What are the 3 things you get to ask? Or maybe when you're feeling tired or down or overwhelmed or sick, what are some things that the moment you bring them in, they just infuse more energy into you? It's kind of like chicken soup for the soul. So feel free to share that on the chat box too. I think it's always nice for people to be able to see what are some of the ideas. For some people who have shown up, or from my patients and my clients, nature is a big one. Humor, presence, actually getting enough sleep is a very common one. So, and this is the secret sauce. Turns out, I always ask the question, how does it feel in your body when you're emanating those three words, the way you show up as a self or the way you show up for other people? Because your body has this amazing way to remind you, your mind. So it works both ways, right? When you're feeling down and depressed, your body changes its posture. But when your body shifts its posture, let's say we smile, data show when we smile, it makes us more happy. It actually makes us have more oxytocins and serotonins, which makes our brain more happy, right? When we stand up tall, we feel differently. So take a moment and just shift your gesture and shift your posture, or standing up when you talk, right? That actually automatically reminds your mind of something that's important. So being able to remember physiologically how this feels and practice that every day and bringing yourself into that space every day is really important. So what we focus on and practice is what we become, right? So here's the question. How would you be able to remind yourself these three words around self, your best self? And how would you remind yourself the three words around the best reminder of how you can interact with the people around you or strangers around you? Could it be as simple as putting it on a sticky note next to your computer? Or one of my favorite ways is actually getting on your phone and actually putting an alarm or scheduling it into a 7 o'clock slot, or putting it, if you put an alarm, you replace the alarm name, you name it your three clarity words, and you ask yourself, you say, are you ready to be present, generous, confident today, right? Make it a question where you have to engage back. Are you ready to be present, supportive, and compassionate to the people in your lives? Or schedule it at 6 o'clock when you come home. And then think about, what is one habit for you that you can develop that can consistently bring you more often in contact with the success factors in your life? If it's nature, is it scheduling a date with a friend to go out for a hike every weekend? If it's humor, is it actually making a choice to make a little laugh or get other people to laugh? That's actually my success factor. So at the end of every one of my appointments, I always try to make sure that we laugh or have a little lightheartedness, or see things silly, make fun of something silly, and just feel that lightheartedness. So create a way for you so that you know that you hit the mark at the end of every day, that you look and you say, in my clarity, am I showing up and remembering these simple words of who I want to be or aspire to be as my best self? So feel free to write some of the ideas down and share with other people too. So once again, I wanted to share this graph with you again, right? This beautiful infinity sign picture. Again, imagine if now you have your three clarity words, right? Of how you want to show up, or how you want to show up interacting with other people on the left side. Do you imagine when you go into a situation you're just not sure, or you're feeling anxious, or with all the reopening, going back to work happening, or starting to have to see, people face to face? Do you feel like it's easier for you to consciously make a choice to pull back to clarity and have actions that are proactive rather than reactions that are not of your intentions? What do you think? Yeah. All right, so what are 3 steps to take this away with you, right? How do we go off and do even more with these three questions? And now you have these 3 clarity words. So the first one is actually to understand we can use this during our transition times. This is a powerful, powerful tool. So imagine a transition time is when you are in between things, right? How often do you get up, you get out of your house to go to your work or to go to your next meeting, right? Or transition time could be going from finishing breakfast, saying goodbye to your family and now turning on the Zoom. So there's a unique transition time from one activity to another that's intentional. So being aware of these transition times and taking advantage of them is the first start. The second start is actually using this powerful technique called the release meditation. And let's go ahead and try this. It takes about 2 minutes to do. Super powerful because what it does, it allows you to consciously release whatever's going on from the last activity and create a new opportunity for you to reset and set the clear intention for the next opportunity, right? So go ahead and put down your pen again, relax your shoulder, have your feet down on the ground, maybe sit a little bit further out towards the seat so that your back feels comfortable. And I want you to do right now is close your eyes and find your center. Try to sense your body grounding into the moment and try to find your belly as you breathe in and out these nice, long, deep breaths. For the next few ones, I want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose or your mouth. And allowing for these breaths to go even deeper and wider and feel the air stretching your lungs. A couple more times. And now I want you to sense your body and focusing on releasing any tension that's in your body. And let go of that deep breath and simply go back to a relaxing, rhythmic breath that feels good to you. And simply keep your eyes closed and keep breathing and repeating to yourself the word release. Imagine releasing these balloons up into the sky and releasing any tension or any thoughts or discomforts along with it, with the balloons up into the sky. Release any distractions. Release any depleting emotions like stress or frustration. Just give it away for the next few minutes. And when you're ready, you're welcome to come back. And in this case, I want you to set an intention to think about those 3 clarity words that you've come up with. What are the 3 words that describe what is it that represents your authentic best self? And take a moment and adjust your posture, adjust your mental mindset, adjust your breath so that you are embracing the physiology of how those 3 words feel in you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And in that clarity, you've made a decision, right? You've made a decision here to say, in the next activity, as I enter the door, as I press the Zoom button, right, I'm choosing how I want to show up, how I want to interact, and how I'll physically show up in this next moment, right? So do you feel like with this technique or with this tool, the simple 2-minute release meditation, and then bringing in that, setting the space for your intention, it's going to help you have less reactions. It's going to give you less mishaps. And sure, we're not perfect. You're not going to also solve every parental problem, every, colleague conflict that you will have. But do you feel like it's easier for you to then not wallow in it, be able to have an action that you can shift? But it's not just an action of go, go, go. It's an action that comes with a lot of deep connection to who you truly are. So the quick recap for 3 quick key questions, right? Because it changes. I've used these words, I've asked myself these questions, and they've evolved in the last 5-6 years. So these are good questions to ask. And they can be questions that ask for different scenarios. You're going to go into a family gathering, a weekend where we haven't seen siblings and cousins and, family with different, political views. You can set those words up again for that weekend. So what are the 3 key words to guide your best self? What are 3 words to guide how you interact? And what are 3 success markers that sets you up for success? And then the 3 tools is understanding the benefit of a transition time. Take advantage of it. That's what high performers do. They utilize time, they schedule time, they utilize time, and they take intention cues as a way to help us continue to remind ourselves to perform in a way that feels authentic. And then also release meditation and setting the intention. So what happened to Jane, right? She started using this practice. She actually came up with the word confidence, spaciousness, and release as her best self, where she needed to be. So she started putting herself first. She needed spaciousness, and she's confident people in her life are going to do what they need to do. And she's confident when she does engage them, she's doing what she needs to do. So she started writing a gratitude journal. She's not checking email first thing in the morning. She's creating space to rest and release in her life. She even got a trainer to help her on her off days, and she's finally sleeping better. So the biggest take home too for her is she's actually able to say no to projects that she thought she was, she has to do it all. So that confidence helped her started finding more joy in what she has to do and don't have to prove herself all the time. So I want to, in this note, help you also be energized, empowered, embodied, and live in vitality. So I'm excited to share with you. I have a 4-week Busy Women's Vitality Reset course I'm launching. It's my first founders program. It's going to launch in a couple weeks in April 10th. And the goal is for you to be able to reboot your metabolism, your mindset without guilt, without pills or cumbersome work, right? The idea is that you could actually 20 minutes max a day, practical guide that gets you from feeling empty to feeling energized, feeling frustrated to feeling empowered, from feeling scattered to feeling focused, from feeling overwhelmed to getting to feeling ease, feeling uncertain to confident, feeling stuck to effective. And these 4 weeks, it's going to be an embodiment of me as a functional medicine doctor, me as a yoga meditation teacher, a mind body skills teacher, and a high performance coach. It's coming it all together because I think that they come together as a well put together formula that really helps us not burn out and thrive. 4 weeks. The first week is to get you set up for success, right? You're going to commit to learn about yourself, make time, have the most, get the most important diet and nutrition tip for you. And when you're done with it, you're going to feel empowered, you're going to feel guided, you're going to feel supported, and you're going to feel clear. The second week, it's going to be focusing on how to deeply reset and restore and rest, right? So often we think it's about getting more energy, but it's really how we lean into rest, committing to self-care. And you're going to restore your brain and your body metabolism. You're going to learn how to sleep better. You're going to rest better. You get all the tips around that. And when you're done, you're going to feel you're ready finally. You don't have to feel like you're trying to take out overdraft your bank account on your energy in order to feel better. The third week, you're going to learn to revitalize your body, your inner system, your mind and spirit. So you're going to learn how to optimize your metabolism. This is where you gear up and turn on your energy, get the rhythm of your body back from sedentary to energized to joyful. It's how you declutter the toxins in your body and in your lives. And the fourth week is actually saying, how do you revitalize your environment for a new you, right? How do you create routines, create a new mental dashboard that's not about negativity? How do you declutter your mind, but also your space? How do you approach an elimination diet that actually gets you to feeling great and make it sustainable? So that's what this is going to be. It's a little bit of, preview for what those classes will be. You'll get a clean eating guide. Rather than just an online course, it's my beta. So I want to get a lot of good feedback. You're going to be a founding member. So I will be doing a once a week Q&A and coaching to make it even more valuable for you. There'll be short videos, simple worksheets that engages you, but it gets done within a day in 15 to 20 minutes. And it's supposed to be effective. People who've done programs with me, things that I'm, introducing them a new way to approach health, guiding them to an optimal level of health rather than a quick fix. It's a long-term answer. It's how to live with a healthier life, and also how to increase your energy of vitality and dance again and draw again and find joy again. So again, it starts April 10th. Spots are limited. I'm just only limiting it to founding members so I can be intimate with this. Sign up for a 15-minute discovery call with me. The way to do it is to, log on here to Calendly, to Women's Vitality. I'm going to put it on the chat. And schedule a 15-minute with me. It takes no time. It's going to be $597, but the first 5 who sign up will be $497 for the course. This course normally would be $2,000, but because of the value, because you're going to be founding members, because how much I really want to just share this with you, I want to give you this beautiful discount. And lastly, just go ahead and schedule. Again, it's a 15-minute call. It's going to launch in a couple weeks, and I'd like to just be able to share this with you. And if you have any final questions, let me know, and I will be here for a moment. I typed it in again, Calendly Women's Vitality Reset. All right. Well, wonderful. I will be turning this into a recording, and I will be sharing this. And again, I do host a lot of my webinars that are recorded on YouTube. So feel free to go to YouTube and then look up my name, Onna Lo MD, and you'd be able to find past webinars and this one in particular. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I am grateful for you to be here, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.